I draw near, I'm just a harmless creature. Don't think me wild, I'm meek and mild, for weakness is my feature. Please have a little pity and listen to my ditty. I'm not the great Elijah who healed in Zion City. I'm the ghost of a truth.
Hello, and welcome to the 5th episode of Ghost 4 to 13. I am Travis. This is Andy.
And I believe we are live now.
Good live! Fuck it!
We have an exceptionally exciting special guest here today. Andy, would you like to go ahead and talk about him a little bit?
Yeah, I met this guy a few years ago. He's doing awesome things as an actor, a writer, producer, director, you name it, he does it. And let's just kind of look at some of the stuff he's done, and then we'll get back to him in a second.
Absolutely.
Amityville is lost. It belongs to the doomed. The dead are not staying dead. They're walking the streets. They're eating other human beings.
I've looked everywhere. I can't find any bugs, any listening devices. I still think he might be listening.
Yeah, I heard. It's not good. Of course I didn't sign off on it. I tried to warn you, but did you listen? No. I told you when hell is full, the dead will walk the streets. Well, hell is full.
Jesus, I don't feel good.
They never asked me. When I realized what they were planning, I tried to stop them, but they'd already sent the message giving the green light. With the time differential, by the time they got my message, it had already been launched. I told you not to glorify this haunted house that you thought was so cute. So what did you do? You glorified it. You made a book out of it, and the devil read the book. You made movies out of it, and the devil bought tickets to the movies. He showed up at the theater.
Love that mask.
Me when I got a
I suppose it's cold, but I believe in staying in my own lane. If they'd done that, we wouldn't be here. And the Lord's waiting for you. The Lord will hear your prayer, but you need to do it before you're devoured, before you're consumed, before you're possessed, because then it's too late. And once it's too late, it's all over for you.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest for today. Author, writer, actor, and director, Mr. Gary Hil.
Here's
Hey, everybody. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. It's truly an honor. So to recap to our audience, Andy and I had a chance to go to Indianapolis to film a short called She Knows, which is where I got the chance to meet Mr. Gary, and also I believe Andy as well. Anything you'd like to add on that, Andy?
No, it was a great time. It's the first time I actually met Gary, so I think we talked for maybe about 3 minutes, and then I remember you messaging me and like, hey, you want to be in my short? And I'm like, where are you? You're like 30 minutes away. I'm like, all right, cool.
And just to cap on that, there was basically the premise was that it was set up as a convention. So Gary was kind of playing himself, being that he is an author. And I remember that I gravitated towards his table and grabbed myself a copy of one of his books. I'll never forget because the director of photography, Cody Newton, was there holding his camera, looking over and said, Cthulhu? Do we have the rights for this? Anyway.
Time out here. Okay. I had a table there as well, and you bought jack shit from my table. What is up with that, dude? I met you first.
I know, right? I will say though, we do have a little clip of Gary's cameo in that, and it's just kind of sad because there's just this brief little thing here. I'm going to show this just for the fun of it, and it's poor Gary after he's been attacked, and someone stole a copy of his book. But you know,
I thought he had too many drinks, and I wasn't sure.
And I still remember that I'm laying on the floor, and there's all this cold as hell fake blood on me, and Cody's over there going, "Poor Gary," and then he's doing Amadeus, rock me Amadeus, and I'm trying not to laugh because that dude was so funny.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely great. Well,
That was a really fun experience because that was literally my first time on a movie set, and I got to meet cool guys like you, and I made a lot of friends, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah,
absolutely. And so that leads us into our first question, my friend. For you, what came first, writing, music, acting, or filming?
So music was, I don't know, man. Writing came when I was a little kid. I started writing. I remember, and I was writing scripts when I was like 12 years old and taking them to middle school, and my friends would read them and love them, and we had fun with that. And I was writing comic books back then, and that's about when I discovered music and started playing music. So all that definitely came first, and then I played music in bands for years. Nothing that ever got anywhere. Yeah, there you go. Nothing that ever got anywhere. We pretty much never got out of a garage, but we had a lot of fun playing. And then I got into music journalism. Yeah, and I started doing music journalism. And then I wrote the book, the very first book, the one that you have is the very first book I wrote, because I got the idea, well, maybe I should do a book. What do I know about it? I know about music and I know about Cthulhu. And so I thought, well, let's do that, because I knew there was a lot of music inspired by it. And then that led me to more books. And then I thought, well, let's try some video. So I started doing YouTube channel. At first, I was just sort of assembling videos with like pictures and audio, public domain audio. And then I started doing my own shows, like my review show and then a spooky news show. I think I did that first. And then I got the bright idea. Well, actually, one of my friends, Mike Korn, who Andy knows, had wanted to be a horror host for years. And I kept saying, I'll do the show for you on my channel. And he just never would commit to doing it. So finally I asked him, well, would you think if I went ahead and did the horror hosting show? And so he said, yeah, go ahead. So I started doing that. And then we went and got to do She Knows. And that sort of being on a movie set, I was like, this is like, it felt like home. Yeah. And I was like, this is really cool. I need to do more of this. And about the same time, every episode of Spooky Movie Time starts with a silent short. And I was sort of running out of silent shorts. And I thought, you know what? I can make my own. Really, it was like, wow. I didn't really grasp exactly what went into it, but I thought, well, I'll do it. And so we started doing those, and it's just sort of blossomed from there. So awesome. It's been a hell of a trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, what was like the first story that you ever wrote? Is this something you did like when you were a kid or in high school? And like, kind of what did you have like? People that you looked up to that you wanted to write after? How did they come about?
I mean, I know the first one I actually remember writing was actually a comic book, and it was called Wizard Song. And it was like when I was about 11 or 12 years old. And it was sort of part Star Trek, part Marvel Comics, and it was really and part progressive rock music, all sort of woven together. Well, the interesting thing about that was that I lost the comic book. I think I may still have a page or two around the house here somewhere, but I lost it mostly. But it all lived right here. And then in the 90s, I rewrote it as a novel, which was really clunky. I had some really cool ideas for I had this whole complex thing where I figured out there were like 2 or 3 moons for the planet, and their timing system, their calendar was based on how many moons were in the sky. Really complex, way more complex than it had to be. And it made the whole thing really clunky. But I wrote the whole book, and then I lost it. And
Oh.
so then 2020 rolled around and we were all cooped up in COVID. And I decided I'm just going to rewrite it. And so I rewrote the whole thing and put it out. And I'm actually really happy with the book that I have now. But so that the very first one that I remember, I actually wound up rewriting twice, and it's out there for people to buy now.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Are you ever familiar with Terry Pratchett?
You know, I know Terry Pratchett's stuff, but I don't think I've read a lot of it at all. But yeah.
That's okay. The only reason I brought it up is because he's known notoriously for going into crazy detail about orbital paths and
Oh yeah.
So I got to say, although what you described as clunky, I imagine that would be quite an interesting read to see the world you created with your separate moons traversing your universe.
Yeah, it was really a real labor to write it that way, and it was even more laborious to read it, I think.
Well, now that we have an idea of what inspired you in terms of like turning film into medium, I got to ask, when was Scary Gary first created, and what inspired you to make that character?
Well, I got to say I'm a huge Svengoolie fan, so Svengoolie was part of it. But yeah, there you go. But I did not. And then you can see over in the corner there's my wife Diane and I meeting Sven in that one picture there. But
Cool.
but I didn't want to copy Sven. You know, you don't want to do a copy.
Sure.
And so I wanted to create my own character and, you know, do the show my own way. The whole mask thing, I was kind of going for a Phantom of the Opera sort of thing with that mask that I wear.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of works for that.
Yeah.
I think he's a fun character. He's lives in a haunted castle, and you know, otherwise he's a pretty normal guy.
Yeah. Is that a mask that you made, or you just found
No,
somewhere?
I bought that mask, and then I just put
cool.
up different pieces to put the costume together. But
Yeah.
And then after, I think it was like the third or fourth episode, I introduced a second character, which is DB Lovecraft, which nobody's ever asked what the DB stands for, but it stands for dead body, because he's just like a skull head with a hooded robe.
Yeah.
And he has this distorted voice. It's me, but you know, I credit it as Dark Star, because Dark Star is an old stage name of mine, and I actually use it as a pen name when I write for this site, Wormwood Chronicles. So I'm like, all right, I'll make it Dark Star is playing DB Lovecraft.
Dead Body Lovecraft. Love that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Now he's an interesting dude. I mean, he was he was a reporter during the Napoleonic era, and then at some point he died, and he's just been this skeleton-looking dude ever since. But he continues to be a reporter.
Yeah, always reporter.
Yeah.
Life and death.
and he hates scary movies.
That's great.
So yeah, before my next question, we have our first question in the chat here. It's from Steve Morris. He wants to know, if money wasn't an issue, which one of your books or stories would you most want to see adapted into a feature film? And if you had an unlimited casting budget, who would you choose to play the lead? No restrictions, just the dream cast only.
Oh man. So Wizard Song would probably be the one, because Wizard Song, okay, it's literally, you've got a progressive rock band that have like a really mysterious history. Like they have no history. They don't know who they are, where they came from. And they get abducted by some aliens and get pulled into the middle of this battle between two different spacefaring races. And so that one would cost a fortune to shoot. But that would be the one I would really want to do. And just because he's my all-time favorite actor in the world, I would have to get David Tennant in it.
Yes.
That would be the one. I love David Tennant. David Tennant can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, from interviews I've seen and little snippets I've seen, he seems like a really cool guy, too.
I got a chance to meet him twice, and he was so nice, super nice. I highly recommend.
He seems really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely have David Tennant in there.
I could see that. That would be one kick-ass movie.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question would be, I know you have
Oh,
like.
and by the way, one thing, real quick.
No, go ahead.
Hi, Steve.
Oh yeah, hi Steve.
So I was kind of wondering, like, how you. I know you have like, all these shorts and stuff that we do. Do you have a list, or is there something that you have in your head, or how do you like adapt it, like in your mind? Like, how do you choose like what you want to put into your short films?
Well, for the silent shorts, my idea was I wanted them to look like they could have been made in the 1920s, and so for most of them, they were stories that would have been readily available in the 1920s for them to adapt. And so I just started looking at some of those stories and picking out stories I liked. I mean, I'm an H.P. Lovecraft fanatic, so we had to do the Statement of Randolph Carter, because that's probably my favorite Lovecraft story anyway. Right, yeah.
Yeah, I watched your shorts last night, and I have to say, between the Statement of Randolph Carter and Yellow Wallpaper, those two are my favorites.
I'm not signing that either. Don't ask.
But Randolph Carter was that had to do that, and you got to do Poe. So we did Facts in the Case because I thought that was probably the creepiest Poe story ever. Yeah, and then. So then the others, I just picked some stories. And the Yellow Wallpaper, I've always loved that story. I just think that story is so cool. And one of the points I wanted to make about that story, and I've not really seen anybody draw this before, but I think that story and The Shining have a lot in common. Because you've got somebody who's trapped in an isolated area, and the surroundings sort of drive them insane. And in both stories, or at least feed into their insanity. And so I think they're kind of the same story in a way. So that was another one. But then with the second batch, I started pulling some of my own short stories in. I thought, you know what? Let's just pretend they're old and nobody, I'm like, it's all wink anyway that these are vintage at this point. I mean, I stopped aging them after the first 5 because I'm like, let's just. Nobody believes they're 1920s, and we're not going to pass it off that way. They're just going to try to look like they're 1920s. So I threw a few of my stories in.
It was really cool. I by the way, because again, as a fan of Yellow Wallpaper, I loved the design for that. Is that something that you just?
Okay, you're going to plug somebody there. There was an artist locally here. His name is Chris Sweeney.
Yeah.
He also goes by Chris Gibas, and he is an amazing artist. And so I approached Chris and I said, look, would you want to design this wallpaper? And so Chris was like, sure. So he got the description from the story and came up with something that he thought worked. And what you don't really notice when you see it in the movie, when our Sam Korn, who's our co-producer, and he's just awesome dude, and as Andy says, he's MacGyver. He can make anything from a paper clip, some bubble gum, and a roll of duct tape. And but he printed out the sheets and made wallpaper and put the whole wallpaper up. When that was wallpapered on the wall, it really did have an unsettling feeling to it.
No. So you actually made that wallpaper then?
Oh yeah. Like I said, Chris came up with the design, and then Sam printed it out and put it up on the wall so we could have it torn down. I think I've still got a partial roll, and I know I've got some of the pieces still left that were torn off the wall too.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, I got to say, because I remember when watching it, and I love the different edits you did where everything was.
Oh yeah, I did some little animation with it.
But just because that was one of my favorite stories in English class growing up. And just hearing the description of the wallpaper and seeing what you created, I was like, geez, I really wonder how they pulled that one off. So I got to give you kudos to that. That was really cool.
Kudos to Chris Sweeney for that.
Yeah, kudos to Chris Sweeney.
He did an amazing job. He's a great artist, and he's a really cool dude.
Chris Sweeney.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Sweeney. So speaking of growing up with different stories, for you, what genre did you gravitate towards? And were there any favorite authors or writers that you had growing up?
I was very much a science fiction and horror guy. and I was very much a comic book guy. And I think for authors, it was Rod Serling. I read a lot of Rod Serling when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't really discover Lovecraft until the Reanimator came out, and then after Reanimator, From Beyond, and I was like, who is this Lovecraft guy? And I started delving into his book, his stories and stuff. But so I think it was mainly and just a lot of comic books. I was a huge comic book guy. And I would read, science fiction comics. I would read superhero comics. I would read horror comics. I'd read pretty much all of it. I kind of still do. So it was more comic books, and a lot of TV and movies influenced me, I think.
Absolutely.
And music. It's weird. Music. I remember one of the earliest scripts I wrote was I had the Steve Miller Fly Like an Eagle album, and I loved that album, and I sort of had an idea, which is, I think, 100% not true, but as a 12-year-old kid, 11 or 12-year-old kid, it seemed to make sense to me that there was a theme running through the album. Again, I don't really think that's accurate. I think they're just separate songs. But at the time, I put it into a theme, and I wrote a whole script based on what I thought the theme was. And so it was like music was a big influence, too.
That's cool. Have you ever thought about writing a musical?
I hate musical theater. It's weird. I love music. I love movies, but I hate musical theater. I can't stand it.
Fair enough.
So, for people that don't know, we filmed a few weeks ago the shorts of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Frankenstein.
Yep.
Is there anybody, as far as like iconic characters like those three, that you haven't done yet that you want to put into your short or feature film, or just is there anybody else on your list that you want to really go to right away?
Well, I was thinking maybe we should do a Dracula since we've done some of the big ones. And Dracula's also in public domain, so that's the problem. You gotta think about the stuff that's in public domain unless you want to raise the money to get and try to get licensing. I mean, there are plenty of other characters I'd love to do, but yeah, you'd never get the money for them. I mean,
who are they? Name them.
Well, Andy, you'd make a good Freddy Krueger, my friend.
Oh my God! That's for a wet dream.
And I love Michael Myers and I love Jason, and all those classics would be cool. And I know everybody hates on Jeepers Creepers because of the director, and I understand why people hate on that because of that. But that character's creepy as hell, and he would be fun.
It's an iconic character. It is a shame that it did come with some bad news from the person who created it, but it still stands pretty good in terms of creep aesthetic, or it seems like it would be kind of a character I could see Lovecraft thinking of portraying, being like an endless entity that's lived forever and continue.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the trouble with Lovecraft is a lot of his stuff is just really hard to adapt. I mean,
yeah,
it doesn't really fit. Although some other Lovecraft stories I wouldn't mind adapting would be The Rats in the Walls.
That's
one of my favorites.
That's a good one.
And another of my favorites is Pickman's Model, which if you had a good enough creature maker, that could be doable. You'd also need an artist to do the paintings, but
yeah, that would be pretty wild. It is true. It does seem to be that a lot of different adaptations seem to either fall apart or just don't really lift off the ground with Lovecraft. I'm not sure. Do you think that's something to do with the translation of it, or just bad luck?
I don't know. I mean, part of it is Lovecraft intentionally didn't really describe stuff very much. I mean, even look at the statement of Randolph Carter. Some of the people who watched the short are like, well, I want to know what's down there. Well, Lovecraft never says what's down there.
Right,
all you get is the voice that we have, mentioned at the end. That's all you get of what's down there. Now, I've actually thought, and I mentioned this once to Andy, I've thought about doing a sequel to it where Randolph takes the two detectives and they go down there and actually see what's down there. But we would need a budget for that.
Yeah. It's funny because I actually have a a version of that on vinyl, which is really fun to listen to. And
Oh yeah.
you get that eerie, the creaks and the noises. But that's one thing that I always put in my mind. And I love that your short incorporates that, especially with Andy standing over the hole with the telephone. You know, that's kind of exactly in my mind how I envisioned it would look in that instant. Right. And that eerie.
You know what's funny about that? I was like, so when we got ready to start doing it, and this is another thing about Sam Korn. So we got ready to start doing the whole thing, and so we did he came up with just doing the lines for the phone. That part was easy, but what's really interesting, the electric lantern, I was like, did they actually have electric lanterns then? And, which he mentions in the story. So I'm like, they must have had them, right? And they did have those phones, by the way, with the long cords like that too.
Yeah.
But so I looked up and I found one of those lanterns, and I was like, hey, this is what they look like. And Sam built one that looked like identical to the one that's out on the internet. The real
one. I noticed that you did have some very unique props in all of these shorts, and it's pretty clever the way that you guys designed it. You know,
that's all on Sam. 99% of the props are Sam.
Well, cheers to Sam.
Cheers, Sam.
Cheers, Sam.
Cheers, Sam.
Well, plus he dug that thing, and I always told him, like, if the police are chasing you, you got somewhere to hide now.
Did you? Yeah. Did you know that you never heard that story, did you, Travis?
No, I don't think so.
So we're getting ready to shoot Statement, and my friend Mike is the one going down the hole, and I'm not really that crazy about putting him in harm's way, right?
Right, of course.
And so I'm trying to figure out. I'm telling Sam, what if we build something, and we just raise it up, and we have it like shrouded around. I said, or we could do something where we're just shooting from the side and he's going down some stairs, and then we can just put the side. And Sam's like, I could dig a hole. then I tell Mike, and Mike's like, no, it'll look much better if I go down in a hole. I was like, all right. So Sam spent 2 hours a day for 2 weeks digging that hole.
It's 2 hours a day for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yes, it's probably 8 feet long and I think 7 feet deep, and he cut steps into it too. It's like, my God, man!
Wow, talk about the dedication on that.
Nailed it.
So when I got there, I was expecting like this little hole thing. I get there, and it's like you could hide like a half a city in that thing. I'm like, why is this so deep? I'm like, holy shit.
What did you guys use for the gravestone when you lifted it up?
Just fake. Oh, for the stone that came up off of it. Okay, so you've also got The Secret of Growing Gold on there.
Yes.
And you watched that one?
I did.
The hearthstone that the hair is growing out of.
Yep.
We reused that for on top of the tomb.
He's lying. It was 400 pounds cinder block.
Yeah. Got to be authentic here, using real stone.
Yeah.
No, I noticed that you did kind of create that hearthstone, so that is kind of unique that you reused those props.
Yeah, that whole fireplace thing was all on Sam. He built that. Okay, so even more so, those first 5 shorts, I rented out this community building where we live, and Sam built all those walls out of old doors, and he'd like move them around, and so all those walls you see are not real walls at all. They're just put together with doors, like
repurposed doors. Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta say,
crazy.
That's insanely clever. That's really cool.
We had there's an outtake that we didn't get on camera for it was Secret of Growing Gold, where Andy's carrying Shanta and slams into the wall with her, and you can see the wall go boom. But unfortunately the camera wasn't rolling when they did that.
I was like, oh shit, I can't get to the door. But like, yeah.
I do have to say, another one of my favorite things about your particular shorts was seeing Andy's involvement and all the various characters that he played. It was very, very fun. I think you did an excellent job, my friend.
Thanks, Bill.
I would say, as of now, there's only one of my things that he's not in, and that's just because he didn't fit the characters were supposed to be in their 20s or so, and so I don't think you got it there, Andy.
That's it. I quit.
So we had Patrick Lauer and Blaise Skiro to do that one by the two of them, and they did an awesome job. They did an amazing job. But other than that, Andy's in absolutely everything I've done so far. So,
do you mind? Either of you fellas mind if I play your transformation clip for Dr. Jekyll?
Oh yeah.
Oh, but let me say one thing first.
Oh yes.
The transformation, I could have tidied the transformation up a little more, but I intentionally left it look clunkier just because I wanted it to look more like authentic 1920s.
Yeah, that's one reason I loved it, because of the transition shots. There's a couple of shots that you did in there that reminded me or brought back to, like, say, Twilight Zone, different angles and things that you chose, or anything like from a 1950s almost sitcom when you go from these transitions. But I did love this transformation scene, and I just had to play it.
That hat, awesome. It's water, people. Calm down.
I was going to ask, what was that?
I think at that point it was pop, wasn't it?
I look like Zach Morris from Save Up.
And we all are rendered speechless.
I don't think anybody's ever said that about me, so I don't know.
No, but I absolutely loved it. That was really cool. Really appreciated that. Which
Where do you see Frankenstein?
Yeah, I'm dying to see Frankenstein.
I can't fucking wait.
Now,
Andy's seen it. There have been a couple edits since you saw it, Andy, but Andy's seen it. Yeah, it's really good.
Cool. Actually, on that, because I asked Andy this before, and but I think I want to ask you: is this Frankenstein going to be like a true adaptation from Mary Shelley, or going to be another twist of your own on it?
It's much closer to Mary Shelley than the Universal movie. Much closer.
That's very
It's. I mean, we had to simplify it a lot to get it into like a 20-minute thing, 20-minute silent movie, and plus because of budget. I mean, one of the things I found was with the book, she never really explains the process. It's not like the big electricity thing. So we just did some chemicals and stuff, and we didn't really go into it too much. And in fact, part of the process I wanted to film, we didn't manage to film because Sam couldn't get 12, what are they called? The shot things. Drawing a blank on it. Syringes. 12. Sam couldn't get 12 syringes. And so we just did that with text cards instead. But yeah, it's a little closer to the Mary Shelley, although Mary Shelley's monster doesn't really look monstrous, and we wanted a monster that looked monstrous, so we went with the monster makeup. But the monster is intelligent, like Mary Shelley's version, and has his own motivations, and he is not necessarily a monster. Of course, Universal's one wasn't really a monster either. He was tortured, and he was kind of the victim. But yeah, it's definitely closer to Shelley's than the Universal one.
I'm excited. Is there any hints on when it will be released?
Yes, on Frankenstein Day, which is August 30th.
Oh.
Yeah, we're releasing that, and then we're also, through Tales of Wonder and Dread, I'm releasing a new edition of Mary Shelley's book with stills from the movie, so that'll be cool.
That sounds excellent. Well, actually, that brings me to my next question. So was there a reason that you chose majority of your films to be silent films? Or were you always a big fan of silent films throughout your history?
I like silent films, but like I said, the entire motivation for doing these was to make silent movies for the Spooky Movie Time with Scary Gary show. And then I started doing them, and they're just sort of fun to do. Now we've got one more to finish filming. Andy's scenes are all done for it, but we're going to finish the rest of it on August 22nd, and that'll be the end of the 15 I had planned. And now originally I was like, I don't want to do any more of those, and now I'm sort of knocking around the idea of doing some more of them. We'll see. We'll see if we do it or not. But we're doing something that is similar to silent, but it actually isn't silent, which we filmed the opening scene a little while ago, a couple weeks ago. But it's called the Coming of Kaiju Bob, and it's meant to look like a 1950s kaiju movie, and it's going to be completely dubbed Kaiju Bob. So it's going to be completely dubbed, but very badly dubbed because it's a spoof.
Yeah.
So I've got the first scene edited, and actually my sound guy has it. He sent me a version earlier today, and I had some notes for him on things I wanted done differently. So once that's finished, I'm going to release it because it gives nothing about the rest of the movie, and it'll help to generate some interest in it. So, but it's going to be a fun movie. So that's almost silent because literally all the dialogue's getting ripped, all the sounds getting ripped out and replaced. That's going to be a fun one, and I'm keeping top secret what the kaiju is because that's actually one of the biggest gags in the movie. And I'm trying to keep it secret until after the movie's out there. But yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Sweet. So as somebody that works with you a lot, and I see like what you go through, what do you think is the hardest thing that you have to deal with as far as production goes? Is it making the script or the cast or the equipment working correctly or funding, or like what do you think is your top thing as far as trying to get things made?
Scheduling, maybe. Scheduling's really hard sometimes, especially when people are doing stuff on a volunteer basis. You can't be like, you need to be here on such a date. No, you got to work around when everybody's dates are and be very appreciative of the fact that they're willing to come and pour their heart into what you're doing.
Right.
You know, and I do very much appreciate everybody who works on my stuff. But I think scheduling is really tough. Finding locations is really tough. Like, you know, we've filmed in my house now, and we've filmed in my backyard several times, but I'm starting to run out of uses for my backyard because it's been in enough things. I don't want people to say, oh, I know where that is. Although there's a certain amount of fun to that. How many times have I seen Mark Polonia's house, you know?
Don't forget about the haunted house.
I know that basement. What's that?
And don't forget about the haunted house.
Oh, yeah. The Victorian. That place was nice, except for the ghosts.
It was not a fun weekend. No.
Well, Andy says there was a ghost.
Oh, Andy, did you see a ghost?
That's probably a story that I shouldn't get into at this point, but yes, I wandered down the stairs at like 2:30 in the morning thinking somebody was breaking into the house, and apparently it was a ghost. So yeah.
It was
That place was a gorgeous old Victorian home that we rented as an Airbnb, though. Very nice place, except for the ghost.
I give it a 5-star review, except for the ghost.
Exactly.
Hey, I didn't even break a hot tub cover at that one either. I'm sorry about
No,
that.
you didn't. You didn't break the hot tub cover at the other. It was already broken.
Well, we'll go with that.
But
Didn't help.
But I was going to say that the only experience I had with the ghost, if there was one, was the first night we were there, and I was just sort of wandering around checking out the rooms, and I'm in one room upstairs, and all of a sudden, I swear to God, I heard the door at the end of the hallway close and latch, and I was like, "What?" And then I go down there, and it's sitting open. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh,
Bro,
jeez.
that house was insane. Like, we woke up and I'm like, I heard things. And I'm like walking around, like trying to go down the stairs, and I'm seeing shadows and hearing shit. And I'm like, okay, I know I've had a lot to drink tonight because we were out till about 10 o'clock. B, it's like 2 in the morning, and C, I go out there and I'm looking around, and it's like I thought I was on like the Twilight Zone. I wasn't sure what to think. I was about to call you or something. I'm like, I need help. Shit's like haunted as fuck, man. It was insane. It was crazy. I don't want to go back there anymore.
I was actually thinking we should try to rent it again sometime. Because it was
We'll
such
make
a
a
nice
ghost movie.
place.
Make it real.
Can I write my will first, or no?
Yeah, you can write your will anytime you like, my friend.
So I guess to answer our question, the issues with filming that you've experienced is scheduling and the impromptu ghost.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing about indie. You have to be ready to adapt. That's the only way you can get through, because I can guarantee you something's going to go wrong. I can guarantee you're not going to get the angle you wanted every time. You're not going to get, I mean, it's just not going to happen. And what you have to do, you can either go and try to reschedule to reshoot, which is going to be a real nightmare, or you can make do with what you've got and make the best film you can with what you get. And that's sort of what you have to do in indie, I think. And you have to be ready. Like when we shot the opening scene for We're Not Alone, which is another one we've got going, which we could talk about later if you want. But when we shot that, I'm in some of the scenes, and so I had arranged to have a couple extra camera people there to help out that day. And that morning, they were both they're a married couple, and they both came down sick. So they were like, "Do you want us to come?" And I'm like, I don't want to get people sick, so let's just you guys stay home. It's cool. And then Sam had rigged up these cool things that were supposed to spurt out blood, and the blood and the pumps didn't work the way he intended. So, but we made it work. We did what we had. We did with what we had, you know.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there, and I had, not to break kayfabe here in wrestling, but I remember sitting here with the thing on my side, and I'm like, why is this fucking thing not working? Like I just got my throat slit, and I have no blood coming out. Like, somebody help.
Well, by the time we film the rest of it, Sam's going to have all the blood stuff worked out really well.
Yeah, we
So
should
the
talk
rest of
about
it
that
is
more,
gonna
though,
be really
because
good.
I feel like this is going to be your coming out party. The cast that we have, the scripts, ad lib that we have,
Yeah.
like the story is so good. Like people are not going to want to. They're not going to not want to see this, and they're not going to see what's going to be coming.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting levels to this story and a lot of layers to it, and some cool little tidbits in there. Like for one thing, and this is not a huge spoiler, but one of the quick weird things you're going to see about it is if you've watched the opening scene, which we released because again it doesn't give away the plot of the movie. If you watch the opening scene, Andy gets killed in the opening scene. Andy's character gets killed. Andy's still alive. But then we're gonna go to the opening credits from there, and after the credits, it's going to say 2 years later, and he's going to be the very first person you see. So it's immediately going to be like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah. How did that happen?
Yeah.
It's just a flesh wound. It's fine.
I got better.
I got better. What are you gonna do? Bleed on me?
I'm looking forward to finishing the rest of it. I think we've got a great cast assembled, and now it's just about getting it done. And
it's going to be fun. The location we've rented is really cool too. It's like from the 1850s, I think it was built, and it sits right on the river. A lot of cool space we can use. It's going to be neat.
The 1850s. I'm going to be haunted again. Oh, lovely.
I don't know, man. You know what? I asked around because I was worried about you, buddy. I literally asked around. But you know what? You got Rick Hale going to be there, and Rick is a ghost researcher. So if there are ghosts there, he's going to know, and he'll know what to do.
Oh, okay.
So I got heads up there.
Oh. Yeah. Who knows? He'll probably even bring some ghost gear. I don't know. After we shoot in August, I don't like throwing too many things at Sam at once. But after we shoot in August, we've got until October for the shoot for that. And I'm going to talk to Rick and say, hey, what equipment would you have? and should we have, and what's it look like? And I'm going to say, Sam, can you rig some of this stuff up? And it'll be fake stuff, but it'll look good. So
Sam's the man. He's got it.
he's got it. Yep.
I swear to God, he could start a car with a rubber band and a bottle of shaving cream.
I think he's probably done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So going back to some of your films, where do you collect your music and stock footage from, and do you actually edit all of it yourself?
The music and stock footage. All right, so yes. Now the music for the shorts. John Randolph has done music for 2 of them. The rest of them I've all gotten from public domain stuff. And literally what I've done is I took music from some old public domain silent movies, mostly Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Nosferatu. There were a couple of others. There's an old Phantom of the Opera I took some music from too. And on the first few, I was just grabbing slices that fit and just putting them in. And so they don't necessarily line up that well. But the last couple I've done, like Jekyll and Hyde and Frankenstein, I've taken different pieces and repeated them and used them for repeating themes and stuff. So I've just repurposed the music from those movies and tried to make a new soundtrack with them.
Well, I got to give you thumbs up on the editing, because the music does seem to enhance and work with it.
Well, thank you.
Only maybe one time I noticed that you might have looped something, but otherwise I couldn't tell if anything was being looped or reused. It just seemed to flow really well. So that's what worked there.
Well, I was a musician for a lot of years.
Yeah, no, that's definitely part of it that helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess my next thing is, let's do a hypothetical. So the scenario is, it's you and 3 other people sitting at a dinner table. You have 4 hours to eat and talk, but they can only be people that are either actors, directors, writers, producers in the movie industry. Who are those 3 people that are sitting at your table, and what are you going to ask them?
Oh, it has to be movie industry, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I know this guy would actually qualify because he did direct a movie. Stephen King.
Yeah,
and he's acted in a lot of movies, so he qualifies.
Technically, he did mention writers too. So.
Well, yeah. And it would be Stephen King. Probably John Carpenter.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
And okay, I'm yeah, Andy, but come on, I can have dinner with you when I want to, bro.
Be you King and Carpenter? Come on, let's go.
Okay, yeah.
All right, go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead.
The other one, Roger Corman passed away, didn't he, recently?
Yeah.
Or is he still around?
I believe he did.
I think he passed away, because I would have loved to have chatted with Roger Corman, because he was other than Ed Wood, he was the king of doing things on a budget. But let me think, who else would it be? Well, I guess Andy's coming then.
Yeah. That sounds like one heck of a dinner. I want to come.
Only 4 people.
We'll tell you the perk. It's fine.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's a great answer. One other thing I wanted to ask to kind of bring into your shorts, how difficult is it to take something like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or Famous Stories and putting them into like 5 to 10 minute shorts?
I don't think that's actually that hard for me. But again, I've been writing for 20 years too. And so I understand how to find sort of the beats of the story and the core things that you need to get in there and eliminate a lot of the other stuff. And like one of the things I did differently, like with Jekyll and Hyde, I sort of rearranged some stuff. Jekyll and Hyde, if you read it, I mean, I just got done because we're also doing a book version of the Jekyll and Hyde Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde with the pictures from the thing. So I just got done editing or formatting that. I didn't do any editing on it. That's a 100-and-some-year-old story. I'm not editing it. So it's kind of reads weird anyway. It's an oddly written story, and the way it's laid out is really bizarre, kind of. So I decided to put this scene in with Utterson, who's the lawyer. He's actually a lot closer in the story to Jekyll. He's like good friends with Jekyll in the story. I sort of eliminated that and sort of made him an outsider. But he's presenting information to the detective, and that's sort of the frame of the story. I thought that was a good way to bring it in, and sort of because the bulk of Robert Louis Stevenson's story, the mass of it is right at the end. There's a thing that Lanyon, who's the comrade of Dr. Jekyll, wrote, and then there's a diary of Dr. Jekyll, and those are sort of the bulk of the story right there. Everything else just sort of skirts around it. So I thought we sort of still need to set that off, and so I decided to put the little thing with the detective and the guy bringing the evidence to him around it to make it sort of, I don't know, work better, I think.
Yeah. Well, excellent. All right, Andy, I think this brings us to...
Yeah, I think that's the point of the show. We are always very appreciative of all the guests that come on here. And there may or may not be somebody else that is. So let's just kind of stay silent for a second and see what happens.
Gary Hil just inspires me as a horror host, as somebody who's into horror films. He's an author. He just puts so much passion. Like, the level of passion he puts into everything is great. And he treats people like everybody is important. Everybody has a view. He listens to everybody. He's very collaborative. I can't say enough good things.
All right, Shanta. I love Shanta. Shanta is awesome. Shanta
appreciates you, and we appreciate your word.
Shanta is a fellow horror host, and she's in a bunch of our stuff, and she has become a really good friend. When she came to our first shoot, April of last year, I'd never met her before in my life, and now we're really good friends. And we've all of us who do these have gotten to be really more family almost than anything else, I think.
That's great. Love that.
So now it is time.
Uh-oh.
He may correct me if I botch this, but we're going to ask you a question. We're going to hope you know the answer. If you don't, we're going to cut your head off.
I'd rather like my head.
Let's throw it up there and let's see what we got.
Well, we thought of a fun question to ask you, being that you are a fan of this particular author. And Andy's going to ask it to the best of his ability.
All right. What is the translations of Fingo Muga Nafa Chuparuma Wager Fabugan?
And before you answer, just because.
We don't know it yet?
So do you have the answer?
I do not have the exact translation. I remember I've quoted it, but it comes to something like Cthulhu sleeps in Riley waiting for something. It's something along that line, but it's close.
That is very close. Judges, are we going to accept that?
Wrong answer.
Yes,
no,
we got him.
That was very, very close. The translation is actually, hold on one second here, as I pull it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was close.
You were very close. I mean, I would almost call it that you technically got it, but I think we're going to go with that. Yeah, you missed that one right there. So that brings me over to my other question. I just got the chance to watch Others, Doomed from the Stars. That was fantastic. Was there a reason that you decided to not do a silent film version of that?
Okay, well, let's. How much of the story you want?
As much as you're willing to give.
Okay, so literally the haunted house that Andy stayed at, that we were shooting at, we shot the first day there, and I came home and I had a message from Tim Hatch, and Tim was like, you know what, I could send you 20 minutes of material, and then you could build a movie around that with some more remote stuff. And my first thought was, I don't think so. I would have to have a story, because I've seen too many remote heavy movies where it just literally seems like they just plug something in here and there and it doesn't really fit. And I'm a storyteller, so it's got to fit the story. So I thought, nah, I don't think so. But I didn't reply to him that night. And then I went to bed. I fell asleep for about an hour. And suddenly I woke up and I went, I've got a story that would make that work. And so the next morning I sent him a message and I was like, yeah, let's do this. And so that's where it sort of started from. And like I said, that story was formed that night. I don't know. I just woke up with it in my head. And then I just started pulling it together from there and bringing in people to do it. And there were a couple, I've seen some reviews of it, fair reviews, absolutely fair reviews, that pointed out some issues with the movie. But a couple things about that movie. Again, I had no intention of doing a feature like that. I mean, I did at some point. I was thinking a couple of years out. But Tim approached me, and I thought, well, I love Tim. Tim's amazing. He's a great guy. And I thought, well, let's do this. It'd be fun to work with him. And then number two, I decided, all right, if I'm going to do this, let's make it an experiment. We're going to make it remote roll heavy. And we are going to make it on zero budget. I mean, zero budget. Well, I kind of went over that. When we went to film at the restaurant, I bought some food for everybody. So it was a little over zero, but it wasn't much over zero.
Oh, that's for a budget of food. That's great.
Yeah. It is not a perfect film, but given the fact that it was filmed the way it was, I think it's a really good film. I think it tells a good story. And there are some really good performances in there. And you did a great job, Travis.
Thank you. Andy did a great job, and you did a great job, Gary.
Thank you.
I think everyone did a great job, and I love that as you watch it, you do get this gradual sense of impending doom.
I like that sort of snowball thing, because that's one of the things I love about John Carpenter is most of his movies are snowballs. And also, one of the things I really liked about it, I thought if we're leaning into this remote thing, one of the things I wanted to do was sort of reflect. I mean, yes, it's set like 40 years in the future, but it's also, I made clear that the society had been stagnant so that we could get away with a lot of stuff. But anyway, I thought, in our modern society, anything like that happens with rumors and stuff, they go out onto social media. Some people are sort of close to the truth. Some people have one little piece of truth. Somebody else have another piece of truth. And I tried to capture that. So You've got all these different voices, sometimes completely contradicting each other. And some of them are right. Some of them have a grain of truth, and some of them are completely wrong. But
yeah. That's really cool. I got that sense too, especially, and I also love too how some incorporate their own theories about what's happening, whether it's accurate or not, and it's just kind of like this kind of almost misinformation, but at the same time, like you said, some of it's on point. I think that was really well done there, Gary.
Thank you. And I think there are I counted once and I don't remember, but it's like maybe 3 or 4 characters who actually know what's going on.
That's cool.
Most of the characters really don't know.
So knowing what we know now and knowing how you feel about the film, what are you thinking in the future about continuing this franchise?
Oh, man, I wasn't going to say anything yet.
Oh, whoops.
You know what? It's already out to be streamed on Fossum. You can watch it on Fossum now. So I'll tell you, Andy and I have talked about this, and I literally told Andy when we were filming the first one that I had an idea to do a sequel. I'm not going to go into why it might be a surprise to people who have seen the movie, because some people haven't seen the movie yet. But if you have seen the movie and you wonder how we could do a sequel, watch it again. There are a couple little clues that I literally planted in there to tell you how we could do a sequel. So Andy and I have actually sort of plotted out 2 sequels to it. And the next one, if we do it, it's going to take a very big budget. Because it's not going to be horror at all. It's going to be action, adventure, science fiction. So it's going to take a big budget. So I don't know. We'll have to see what we can do. We'll have to see where things shake out with these other movies coming up and everything to whether or not we can do that. But I would like to do it.
Well, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what will come of that.
Anyway, so you have seen the movie. Do you know what I'm saying? What I was hinting at?
I'm going to have to watch it again just to see.
Or should we talk about it off camera?
Well, we'll talk about it off camera, just so that way we don't reveal any secrets on that.
Yeah.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Right? So we're getting close to the end of our show here. Andy, do you have any other questions for our guests?
We do have one more comment question. Zamir wants to know, has Gary ever considered doing more conventions?
You know, I did. The last one I did was Milwaukee HorrorCon last September. And for what I made from it and for the amount of work it took me and everything, I just didn't think it was worth that. I will still do some cons, but we're doing, so Illinois Horror Movie Festival is running the others, Doom from the Stars, and they're running like 5 of our shorts, I think. Shane from Blood Pact, who's our distributor, is going to have he's a sponsor there, so he's going to be set up there all weekend. And I thought about vending there, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be stuck at a table all the time. I want to be able to go do stuff. So we just got tickets, and we're just going to go hang out and everything. So I don't know. I don't really like vending. I like the fact that you can make some money off of your stuff, and sometimes it's the only way to do it. But I don't like being tied to a table, and I don't like having to be there for a long period of time and all the lugging and setting up. I mean, I know Zamir saw when we set up for She Knows, and that was just an earlier setup. I've got now my setup's a lot more complicated because I've got more books, and then I've also got DVDs, and I've got a couple DVD players with screens going, and I've got a plasma ball, and I've got a backdrop, and it's a lot to move around, and it's a lot to set up. I think the setup's like an hour and a half now, probably. And it's too much. I don't know. I don't think I make enough off of it, and it takes up too much of my time.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying, but that said, if the right opportunity were there, like a one-day thing, I might do. Like it's 6 hours or something, and it's close enough. We've got they do a vendor fair here in our community twice a year. They canceled the one in spring, but we were shooting anyway. But if they run it in the fall, and I'm free that weekend, I will go set up for that. I sold quite a few books last September, so it was the September one. I sold a lot of books that time, so yeah, I would definitely set up for that one.
I guess never say never, right?
Right. I would still do that one. I just wouldn't probably do other ones, but it depends on the situation. If I had the right offer, somebody to run the table part of the time or something, maybe I would do it.
Sounds good. Well, that brings me to my final question for you, my friend. As someone that's been passionate about writing, can you offer any advice for someone like me or anyone out there that's interested in writing? The best way to just keep at it, get your work out there, and do the thing?
Yeah, I've actually talked about this because, like I said, I was writing for like 20 plus years, so I've talked about this with people before. Literally the most important thing if you want to be a writer is write. And I mean write every day. It literally doesn't matter what you're writing, just that you're putting words together into sentences and coherent things. You can write about, what you did at the grocery store today. Doesn't matter. It's just that practice of writing It's like muscle memory. It gets you to where, like when I write something now, typically if I write like a book or a story or something, I go through it. I do a first draft. Well, a lot of it's written in my head to begin with, but when I type it out, my first draft usually only takes 3 or 4, edits, and it's like completed. It's not like most people's first drafts because I've been doing this long enough. Hey, I've been doing this. I think I've got one of those shirts too. But anyway, it's I've been doing this long enough. And then as far as getting your stuff out there, you can self-publish. You can put stuff out there yourself. But if you want to get into something or you want to have your stuff published by someone else, I've worked as a freelance writer. I haven't done it for a while, but I worked quite a while and made good money as a freelance writer over the years. Let me just say this. What you have to remember is editors are people. And every editor has his or her own perceptions, her own biases, and the publication that they're accepting stuff for or not accepting stuff for has its own rules. And that editor may just have a bad day once in a while. If you get rejected from one editor, it doesn't mean anything. Send it to another editor. Send it to another. Send it to another. Just keep going. Stephen King went, I think, 37 times for Carrie before somebody took it. So, you keep doing it because everyone is different. And it's kind of like with reviews, sort of the same thing. It's sort of the same thing if you get feedback from editors. Now, editors are going to know a little more than your average reader, but the same rule applies with reviewers. Everybody has their own opinion. Not everybody's going to like everything. Different people are going to feel different ways about the same thing. So don't ever take it too seriously if somebody comes down on your thing. And the other thing I was going to say, I know literally when I was writing for multiple editors, I would have to learn the way each editor wanted things, and I would tailor my writing to that. Different editor, write it a different way, format it a different way, because they're all different, And don't, so if you get some rejections, don't get discouraged by that. Just keep going. And it's interesting because I don't know if he still feels this way, but a few years back, 3 or 4 years ago, there was a guy who said I was his favorite author. And, I look at my own stuff and think, I don't know, it's all right. I like some of the stories a lot. I like some of it, but it's like, I don't know. I don't see that. But I was like, wow, that was pretty amazing that even one person in the world thought I was his favorite author, even if it was only for a period of time. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's so great.
I mean, he actually publicly said that. So I'm like, that's cool. Another one that was pretty cool, that book that you have, so S.T. Joshi, which I'm sure is a renowned Lovecraft scholar and, a publisher. And so he did the foreword on that book for me. And I got to know him a little bit. Well, then one of my friends ran into him somewhere a while later and mentioned the book to him. And he told that guy, he's like, yeah, it's one of the most interesting books I've ever read.
Oh,
and so my friend Henrik told me, and so I asked ST, I was like, is that all right if I say that? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. So yeah, he said it was one of the most interesting books he's ever read, that was another big one. It's like, and then you look and see some reviews that aren't so good. So whatever.
That's so great. Well, fantastic answer, I would say, and very perfect advice and wisdom on there. And that's again from our guest today, author, writer, actor, director Gary Hil, of course, of which you can catch a variety of his different books, which are available in various formats today. But you can always check him out on spookyventures.com. And of course, as we just discussed, The Others Doom from the Stars is also available. I believe it's on Fossum. So go check it out. It's quite
yeah. You can also buy the physical copies still at bloodpackedfilms.com.
Bloodpackedfilms.com. Cool. Well, I think that answers all the questions I have today. Andy, do you have any other questions for our guest?
I don't know. I just want to follow up though. I think that's like super cool that somebody told you they, you were their favorite author. So that's pretty awesome. But
It was.
hopefully he actually reads another book. So
Right?
Well, Gary, again, thank you so much. It was an honor and a privilege to speak with you today and catch up again, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Always fun hanging out.
Absolutely.
love you, buddy. Talk in a minute.
All right.
All right, Andy. Well, I guess that closes our episode for today. Is there anything you want to say to the audiences out there?
I appreciate everybody that came in here. Keep on watching us. Follow, subscribe. We got the Facebook page. We got the YouTube channel. Going to have some great guests coming up, and keep those questions coming because we love it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for joining us, everyone, and we will see you on the next time.
That's all, folks.
TTFN. Ta-ta for now.